Hello everyone, this is Lucy05 and welcome to the Cobra Command Central toy review. Now in this review, we'll be looking at the Marvel Legends on the series number 11, the Legendary Rider series, and we'll be reviewing on Taskmaster. And at the back here is the rest of the line itself. And you got the bio for Taskmaster and his stats. So without further ado, let's open up this packaging so I can molest the toy, so stay tuned. And we're back after removing the figure and the rest of the stuff out from the packaging. First, let's take a look at the comic that came along with it. This is the Avengers comic, issue 196, featuring Taskmaster's first appearance. Really good comic. Now we have the vehicle here. As you can see, it's nicely painted actually. It's quite nice. Even the controls are also nicely painted. There's no smudges or anything. And it comes with a seat belt where you can hook it on like so. And the base stand here, it's kind of weird. The joint here can only bend on one direction. It doesn't bend on the other way. So if you want to bend on the other side, you have to turn the entire piece like so, and then do it like that. The base stand is kind of weird too. I mean, it's painted in this metallic blue paint. It's stone, and they use metallic paint to paint this. So it's really weird. And all you have to do is just connect it at the bottom there, and there you have it. It's a really nice vehicle. Even have footholds for the figure to hold on to. Now, let's take a look at his accessories. It comes with a shield, and there's two straps here, which is very long, so it doesn't fit quite nicely as it's very loose, as shown like so. See this? See the vast difference? And it has a clamp there to put it on the wrist there. Can close in. Problem is, when I took this shield out, the entire piece popped off. The black piece clamp with the hinges there, it just popped off, so I have to use glue to, make it stay in. Then you have the billy cane, which there's no way in hell you actually can store it on his body, so I usually have him hold the billy cane. You have the sword, which is deformed, as you can see, thanks to all those years in the packaging. Now, the sword doesn't have a sword sheath to place the sword in. This is not a sword sheath. Once I pull this comic, you can see that's the arrow box. Sword sheath is here. So you can put the sword in, but it's also quite loose, and you can't actually fit it with the sword and try to put this hood onto the figure because there's no room and it's really tight. Basically, it just can't. Then we have the pistol, which fits into his holster and his tie here. Nicely done. And you have this, sheath here, the arrow sheath or the arrow box here. Now, ironically enough, despite that it comes with a lot of accessories, he's missing two: the arrows and the bow. It doesn't come with those two. Then we have this cloak here, which some of the paint job chipped off. As you can see, there's white paint job on the original piece here, and you can easily place it on the figure. As you can see, there's two pegs there and the hole now. You place the two pegs onto his chest and then hook it on, and he stays like that. Problem with this, with the cloak itself, when he's wearing the cloak, is that he's so back heavy he just can't stand still. So that really sucked. Now, the sculpt for this body itself, especially the head is very nicely done. It looks very menacing with the skull face, but there's not a lot of paint job on his face because it's just a plain white skull. But at least the shadow lines is well painted. It's quite detailed. Body itself, is basically well painted, just like in the figure itself. But this one's dressed in black, that one's is more like darkish bluish color. Even the glove are painted, but as you can see, not all the parts are painted properly, as you can see once I bend the wrist here. And some of the paint job are not well done, like the belt buckle here, the blue sort of like faded off, and the brown straps on the gun holster, that's green color, it's sort of faded off. And here as well, but still it's much more better paint job than Baron Zemo. Articulation for this figure, he can pivot the head downwards, upwards, and turn 360 degrees on the head. Now the shoulder actually can go backwards, as you can see, but the other side doesn't want to pivot backwards. I think the joint is stuck, I'm not too sure why. The upper shoulder can turn 360 degrees and can spread all the way up like so, very nicely done. Upper bicep can turn 360 degrees, double jointed elbow, wrist can turn 360 degrees at the glove there, wrist can bend inwards and outwards, but no finger articulation. Torso here can pivot downwards and backwards. The waist itself can turn 360 degrees. Now the hip joint is really pain in the ass. That's typical for Marvel Legends, because if you want him to bend his legs, you have to twist the joint on one section here and then twist the thigh so he can bend it like so. So it's really pain in the ass just to, have him pose to whatever fashion that you want. He has a swivel thigh, double jointed knee, shin here can turn 360 degrees, ankle can pivot upwards and downwards, and the toe here can point upwards. Articulation majority is really nice except for the hips there. Now I'm going to show you how Taskmaster will look once I place him onto the vehicle, so stay tuned. Now we have Taskmaster riding onto his vehicle. Now the biggest problem is that, well, it's not much of a problem, it's just that the seatbelt doesn't actually reach all the way to the hole here to latch onto the seatbelt. So because the figure is hindering it, but he can still sit nicely despite it looks like it's very front heavy. But overall the figure is actually not bad. It comes with a lot of accessories. As you can see, the stupid joint is not doing very well. It comes with a lot of accessories, decent paint job, despite that the tie there is not well done. And there's also another one problem with this figure, is that the cloak itself, the smell of the plastic is so horrible that I don't even want to place him inside the cabinet, because and the worst part is it's also affected the comic book itself. When I try to read the comic, I smell the chemical, and it's like I smell the plastic chemical. It's like, oh my god! So I place him outside the cabinet so it doesn't stink up all my other figures. But he is really nice to display with. So if I'm gonna give a rating on this figure, I'll say I'll give him a 7 out of 10, because the problem is his hip joint is something I really don't like. Second, he doesn't come with his bow and arrows. Well, that would be third anyway. Fourth, the shield clamp popped off. Okay. Fifth, the seatbelt doesn't work. It doesn't latch on properly. Sixth, the cloak is back heavy. And that's why I just give it a 7 out of 10. Otherwise, well, most of the stuff still looks great. So thank you all for watching. This is Lucy05. I'm signing off.